Amid the latest updates on the Russia-Ukraine war, a surprising twist has surfaced. Is North Korean leader Kim Jong-un outmaneuvering Russian President Vladimir Putin in their much-publicized alliance? Initial promises of robust military support from North Korea have reportedly fallen flat, leaving Russia with outdated weapons and unreliable equipment instead of the advanced aid it had anticipated. Could this partnership, once hailed as a potential game-changer, be a glaring misstep for Putin? As the fallout reshapes the battlefield and tests diplomatic ties, the question remains, who truly benefits from this uneasy alliance? And at what cost? Join us to find out in this video. The diplomatic facade between Russia and North Korea began crumbling as the reality of their partnership diverged sharply from initial promises. What started as a comprehensive strategic partnership in late 2023 has exposed a calculated deception orchestrated by Pyongyang. The partnership treaty signed between Putin and Kim contained ambitious commitments, including mutual military assistance in case of foreign aggression, development of alternative trade mechanisms, comprehensive technological cooperation, and joint opposition to unilateral compulsory measures. However, the reality proved starkly different. While North Korean state media portrayed the meeting as demonstrating the invincibility and durability of their friendship, the agreement's implementation revealed significant gaps between promises and delivery. North Korea's true objectives emerged as the partnership unfolded. Kim Jong-un strategically positioned his country to extract maximum benefits while providing minimal genuine support. The regime sought Russian technological expertise and economic assistance while offering largely outdated military equipment in return. The partnership provided North Korea with a vital lifeline to evade international sanctions while accelerating its domestic weapons development programs. This arrangement allowed Pyongyang to strengthen its nuclear and missile capabilities without making substantial commitments to Russia's military needs. The systematic nature of North Korea's deception becomes evident through key events. In March 2023, Russia vetoed UN sanctions monitoring, effectively undermining international oversight and paving the way for unchecked dealings. By June 2023, North Korea pledged full support for Russia, marking the beginning of what appeared to be a robust alliance. In September 2023, Kim Jong-un visited Russia and announced a strategic partnership. By early 2024, the delivery of military aid revealed the truth: Russia received substandard equipment. The relationship's evolution revealed a calculated strategy by North Korea to leverage Russia's desperate need for military support in Ukraine. While Putin sought reliable military assistance, Kim's regime focused on showcasing their alliance as much as possible while providing minimal substantive aid. This strategic deception has not only impacted Russia's military capabilities, but has also created a significant shift in regional power dynamics. The partnership, initially viewed as a potential game-changer in the Russia-Ukraine war update today, has instead exposed critical vulnerabilities in Putin's diplomatic strategy and military planning. Recent military intelligence reports exposed the stark reality of North Korea's military aid to Russia, revealing a concerning pattern of substandard and obsolete equipment flooding the battlefield. The extensive analysis of captured North Korean weapons and ammunition has unveiled systematic quality issues that severely impact Russian combat effectiveness. The artillery shells supplied by North Korea are predominantly decades old, with many dating back to the 1970s and 1980s. Russia has received an estimated 13,000 shipping containers of military equipment since August 2023, including artillery rounds, anti-tank rockets, and short-range ballistic missiles. The scale of this supply operation is massive, with North Korea delivering between 1.6 million to 6 million artillery shells to Russia. Key equipment supplied: 170mm self-propelled guns, 240mm multiple rocket launch systems, N-23 short-range ballistic missiles, anti-tank rockets. The quality assessment of North Korean military aid reveals alarming deficiencies. Combat reports indicate that captured ammunition stocks have shown failure rates as high as 80%. A closer analysis of the artillery shells has brought to light a series of critical issues that severely undermine their functionality. One significant problem lies in the inconsistent quantities of gunpowder within the shells, resulting in highly variable firing ranges that compromise the precision of targeting. Additionally, the shells exhibit compromised sealing, which allows moisture to seep in and degrade their usability. This defect not only reduces the longevity of the ammunition, but also makes it highly unreliable under combat conditions. Further compounding the issue is the danger of premature detonation, which poses a severe risk to artillery crews and can even cause extensive damage to the very artillery pieces they aim to support. Combined with poor targeting accuracy, These flaws drastically diminish the overall combat effectiveness of the equipment, leaving recipients in a precarious position on the battlefield. This assessment highlights the stark reality of North Korea's military aid. Far from being an asset, it has become a liability with dire consequences for its supposed allies. The substandard quality of North Korean military aid has significantly hampered Russian combat capabilities. Artillery units report frequent incidents of shells bursting prematurely within gun barrels, resulting in equipment damage and personnel casualties. The Russian military's reliance on these defective munitions has particularly affected operations in the Dnipro military group region. The scale of dependency is substantial, with North Korean deliveries potentially providing a significant portion of Russia's artillery ammunition needs over the past year. This has allowed Russia to maintain an artillery fire advantage of at least 3-1 over Ukrainian forces in some areas. However, the poor quality of these munitions has led to operational challenges, with approximately half of the North Korean missiles losing their program trajectories and exploding mid-air. The impact extends beyond immediate combat effectiveness. North Korean factories producing artillery shells for Russia are operating at full capacity, while those manufacturing for their own military are running at merely 30% capacity due to resource constraints. This arrangement has created a complex situation where Russia receives large quantities of ammunition but at the cost of reliability and precision. The devastating human toll of North Korea's military deception has become increasingly apparent as reports emerge of significant casualties among their deployed forces. South Korean intelligence services report that more than 1,100 North Korean special forces have been killed or wounded since entering combat, with Ukrainian President Zelensky suggesting even higher figures of up to 3,000 casualties. The deployment reveals a stark mismatch between soldier preparation and battlefield requirements. These troops, mostly in their teens or early 20s, have been thrust into combat with minimal preparation for modern warfare. Despite being members of the elite Storm Corps, these soldiers received only basic Russian language training, learning essential military terms like open fire, artillery, and in position before deployment. They have faced major challenges such as no prior combat experience in mechanized warfare, unfamiliarity with drone warfare and modern weapons, limited training in flat terrain combat, and significant language barriers with Russian forces. The battlefield reality has exposed critical performance issues. In their first engagements, more than 100 North Korean troops were killed and 1,000 others wounded. A particularly telling incident occurred in Russia's Kursk region, where at least 30 North Korean troops were killed or wounded during weekend combat operations. The human cost extends beyond battlefield casualties to affect families and communities in North Korea. The regime has kept the deployment secret from soldiers' families, creating psychological isolation and helplessness among those left behind. Mental health experts warn that deployed soldiers are likely to suffer severe trauma due to mental stress with limited access to proper care. The economic impact on families is equally concerning. While Russia reportedly offers payment of up to $2,000 monthly per soldier, the North Korean government claims most of these wages. The regime attempts to boost morale by promising fast-track induction into the Workers' Party membership, a coveted status symbol in North Korean society. The situation has created what military experts describe as a sad, predictable outcome, with North Korean soldiers struggling against modern warfare technology and tactical challenges. Their deployment in open territory against Ukrainian positions has led to what some cynically term meat assaults due to high casualty rates. Human rights observers note that these soldiers, despite their elite status, face extraordinary challenges without adequate support systems. The combination of combat inexperience, language barriers, and exposure to unfamiliar warfare tactics has created a perfect storm of vulnerability for these troops. The systematic breakdown of Russia's military integration with North Korean forces has exposed critical operational flaws that threaten the effectiveness of their alliance. Pentagon officials confirm that over 10,000 North Korean troops stationed in Russia's Kursk Oblast face severe challenges in basic military operations. The Russian military's efforts to integrate North Korean forces into its ranks have encountered a series of profound tactical challenges, exposing critical shortcomings in both training and adaptability. Russian commanders face an uphill battle in equipping North Korean soldiers with the skills necessary for modern warfare, a task that has proven far more complex than anticipated. The training programs have struggled to cover essential elements such as infantry tactics and trench warfare, key components of the ongoing conflict. Compounding this difficulty is the need to instruct North Korean troops in the sophisticated coordination required for drone operations and artillery fire, areas where their prior experience is limited or absent. combat support capabilities, which are vital for sustaining prolonged operations, have also posed a major hurdle. North Korean soldiers, whose training largely emphasizes small-scale, mountainous terrain engagements, are finding it particularly challenging to adapt to the expansive flatlands and trench systems of Kursk. This mismatch between their prior experience and the demands of the battlefield has further strained their ability to adapt to dynamic combat environments, where quick thinking and flexible strategies are paramount. The inability to seamlessly transition North Korean forces into the Russian military framework has not only hampered their operational effectiveness, but has also created additional burdens for Russian commanders. As the soldiers struggle to grasp new tactics and technologies, the integration process has slowed, revealing the broader inefficiencies in attempting to merge forces from vastly different military doctrines and training backgrounds. This situation highlights the complexities of relying on foreign troops to bolster a struggling war effort, particularly when those troops are unprepared for the unique challenges of the conflict. One of the most significant and potentially catastrophic challenges facing the Russia-North Korea military partnership is the language barrier, which has severely undermined coordination and operational effectiveness on the battlefield. With only one Korean language translator available for every 30 North Korean soldiers, the communication gap has grown into a dangerous liability. This lack of adequate linguistic support has led to critical misunderstandings during operations, often with dire consequences. The severity of this issue was tragically highlighted in a recent incident when North Korean soldiers mistakenly opened fire on Russian troops. Due to a failure to recognize Allied forces, they misidentified members of the Akhmat battalion as enemy combatants, resulting in 8 fatalities. This friendly fire incident underscores the lethal risks posed by insufficient communication infrastructure within the coalition. Efforts to bridge this gap through basic language training have fallen woefully short. North Korean troops have been taught only 100 essential Russian terms, a rudimentary vocabulary that barely suffices for basic commands, let alone complex battlefield instructions. The inability to convey nuanced or urgent messages has disrupted the command chain, causing delays in decision-making and execution that can be fatal in fast-evolving combat scenarios. Beyond individual skirmishes, the broader implications of this communication failure are evident in the breakdown of coordination between units. The inability of North Korean and Russian forces to operate cohesively has not only hampered tactical efficiency but also sown mistrust and frustration among the ranks. These failures highlight the broader challenges of integrating foreign forces into a military campaign, particularly when linguistic and cultural divides remain unaddressed. In the case of Russia and North Korea, the language barrier is proving to be more than an inconvenience. It is a critical vulnerability with far-reaching consequences for their joint operations. The integration challenges extend beyond the battlefield to create significant logistical complications. Russian commanders express frustration through intercepted communications, with one Russian soldier's message revealing their uncertainty about managing North Korean units, stating they don't know what to do with them. The Institute for the Study of War reports that North Korean forces are experiencing expected struggles with high casualties and poor communication, significantly undermining Russian military operations. The situation is exacerbated by cultural differences and the inability to effectively coordinate complex military maneuvers across language barriers. The Russian military's attempt to teach North Korean soldiers approximately 100 key military terms has proven insufficient for complex combat operations. Military analysts emphasize that successful combat operations require constant and specific communications, not just basic directional commands. These integration failures have created what experts describe as a flattening effect on Russian military capabilities, diminishing the effectiveness of technical and tactical specialists, including drone operators and special forces units. Financial analysis reveals the stark economic realities behind the Russia-North Korea military partnership, exposing a severely imbalanced arrangement that has reshaped regional power dynamics. The latest Russia-Ukraine war update today highlights the complex economic web woven between these nations. The partnership's financial scope has reached unprecedented levels, with North Korea earning up to $5.50 billion through arms deals with Russia. The exchange includes significant military hardware, with North Korea providing 20,000 shipping containers of weapons, including millions of artillery shells and various missile systems. Key transaction components: food and oil supplies from Russia, cash transfers for military equipment, advanced weapon systems exchanges, and labor force deployment compensation. Russia's deepening partnership with North Korea has placed significant strain on its already embattled economy, as the financial and resource commitments required to sustain the alliance continue to escalate. One of the most prominent pressures comes from the provision of oil supplies. with Russia having delivered over 1 million barrels to North Korea since the beginning of 2024. This substantial allocation of a critical resource not only strains Russia's domestic energy markets, but also depletes reserves that could otherwise be used to support its economy and military efforts. In addition to oil, Russia has committed billions of dollars in direct financial aid to North Korea. These payments, aimed at solidifying the partnership and ensuring North Korean support, represent a significant outlay for a country already grappling with the economic consequences of international sanctions and the prolonged costs of its military operations in Ukraine. The transfer of military technology exacerbates the financial burden, as Russia provides North Korea with strategic capabilities that, while intended to bolster the alliance, come at the expense of its military advancement and modernization. The economic impact extends beyond resources and technology to Russia's labor market, which has experienced increased strain due to the partnership. North Korean laborers, particularly in construction and agriculture, have become a crucial workforce in certain sectors, but their integration has not been seamless. Reports of mismanagement, inefficiency, and the challenges of relying on foreign labor have compounded existing problems in these industries, leading to decreased productivity and heightened tensions. The strain on Russia's economy has intensified as the country struggles to maintain its domestic workforce while deploying more citizens to the front lines. This has created critical labor shortages across various sectors, forcing increased dependence on North Korean workers. North Korea has emerged as the primary beneficiary of this partnership, securing substantial economic advantages. The regime stands to earn between $320 million to $1.30 billion annually solely from troop deployments. However, the most significant gains extend beyond immediate financial benefits. This partnership has brought North Korea many significant benefits, including critical foreign currency earnings through labor exports, advanced military technology transfers, satellite and rocket technology access, and submarine fleet upgrade opportunities. The economic relationship has evolved into a strategic lifeline for North Korea's isolated economy. Beyond direct financial gains, the partnership has enabled North Korea to circumvent international sanctions, securing essential resources and technical expertise. This arrangement has particularly benefited North Korea's munitions industry, which has seen increased activity due to brisk weapons exports to Russia. The financial windfall has allowed North Korea to redirect resources previously used for complex international smuggling networks toward expanding its conventional and unconventional weapons arsenals. This economic realignment has significantly strengthened North Korea's position, enabling more aggressive regional posturing while reducing its dependence on traditional trading partners. Global diplomatic circles have witnessed unprecedented shifts as the Russia-North Korea military partnership triggers widespread international condemnation. The latest Russia-Ukraine war update today reveals mounting tensions across diplomatic channels, reshaping alliances and threatening regional stability. The international community's response has been swift and unified. Japan, South Korea, and the United States issued a joint statement condemning the deepening military cooperation between North Korea and Russia, emphasizing its grave implications for peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula. The Group of Seven, G7, nations, along with 3 key allies, expressed serious concerns about North Korea's military deployment to Russia. Diplomatic efforts have intensified, with Japan, South Korea, and the United States deepening their trilateral cooperation to counter the emerging challenges. NATO has also stepped up its engagement, enhancing coordination with Indo-Pacific partners to align strategies and share intelligence. Furthermore, international bodies have ramped up their monitoring of potential sanctions violations, aiming to prevent further destabilizing actions stemming from this partnership. These measures underscore the global community's determination to address the alliance's far-reaching consequences. Russia's diplomatic standing has suffered significant setbacks. The country's decision to veto the UN panel of experts responsible for monitoring North Korea's sanctions violations has drawn sharp criticism. This action, coupled with China's abstention, has effectively undermined core global security institutions. The misuse of Russia's veto power within the UN Security Council has drawn accusations of undermining the very principles of international law, particularly as multiple sanctions violations by North Korea remain unchecked. This erosion of legal and institutional frameworks has heightened security threats in the region, destabilizing an already fragile balance and exacerbating tensions on the Korean Peninsula. Moreover, Russia's actions have strained its relationships with global allies and partners, weakening its diplomatic ties and diminishing its influence in critical international alliances. The broader impact of these developments reflects a growing divide between Russia and the international community, underscoring the long-term consequences of prioritizing strategic alliances over global security commitments. The partnership has created significant strain on regional alliances, particularly affecting South Korea's diplomatic position. Seoul's decades-long effort to build a special relationship with Moscow has faced a major setback. The situation has pushed South Korea to consider unprecedented steps, including potential weapons shipments to Ukraine. The diplomatic fallout extends beyond immediate participants. China views the Russia-North Korea relationship as an affront to its regional dominance goals. This triangular tension has created what experts describe as a marriage of convenience or even desperation. France, representing broader European concerns, has condemned the partnership in the strongest terms, highlighting how it poses a direct threat to European and international security. The situation has led to increased coordination between South Korea and NATO, enabling enhanced information sharing regarding North Korean combat capabilities and tactics. The diplomatic consequences have been particularly severe for Russia's relations with Asian nations. Moscow's partnership with Pyongyang has effectively ruined its diplomatic ties with both Seoul and Tokyo. This diplomatic isolation has been compounded by the fact that North Korea remains the only UN member state to accept Russia's territorial claims in Ukraine. The partnership's impact on global non-proliferation efforts has raised additional concerns. Russia's foreign minister crossed a significant threshold by qualifying North Korea's denuclearization as a closed issue. This stance directly undermines decades of diplomatic efforts and Security Council resolutions aimed at complete, verifiable, and irreversible abandonment of North Korea's nuclear weapons programs. Putin's strategic gamble with North Korea has evolved into one of the most significant military miscalculations of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The latest Russia-Ukraine war update today reveals how this partnership has fundamentally altered the balance of power in ways unforeseen by the Kremlin's strategists. The Russian president's desperate search for military allies led to a series of critical oversights in assessing North Korea's true capabilities. Intelligence reports indicate that Russia received approximately 13,000 shipping containers of military equipment since August 2023, yet the quality and effectiveness of this support fell far below expectations. Putin's decision to formalize the partnership through a comprehensive strategic agreement revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of North Korea's actual military capabilities. Strategic oversights include overestimating North Korean military technology, undervaluing Western intelligence awareness, misrating international diplomatic consequences, and overlooking integration challenges. The disparity between expected and actual military support has exposed significant capability gaps in the Russian-North Korean alliance. Reports indicate that North Korean troops, despite being from elite units, received only basic Russian language training with essential terms like open fire and artillery, severely limiting their combat effectiveness. The disparity extends across various military capabilities. While Russia had anticipated receiving modern artillery systems, it instead received outdated equipment that failed to meet the strategic needs of its forces. Similarly, despite the promise of high-quality troops, North Korea's units have proven poorly trained, lacking the necessary skills for advanced combat operations. Technology transfers, which were expected to involve cutting-edge systems, turned out to be limited to basic weaponry that did little to enhance Russia's technological edge. Furthermore, the integration of North Korean forces into Russian operations, which was supposed to be seamless, has been severely constrained due to communication barriers, inadequate training, and mismatched equipment. These discrepancies reveal the stark reality of the partnership, where expectations of advanced military cooperation have been unmet, leaving both sides vulnerable on the battlefield. The strategic implications of this miscalculation extend far beyond immediate battlefield impacts. U.S. intelligence estimates that Russia is recruiting 25,000–30,000 new soldiers monthly, barely maintaining pace with daily casualty rates of 1,000. The deployment of approximately 10,000 North Korean troops to Russia's Far Eastern Federal District has failed to address these fundamental manpower issues. The partnership's long-term consequences are far-reaching and multifaceted. Militarily, it has resulted in degraded combat effectiveness, as the integration of North Korean forces has proven less successful than expected. Additionally, the partnership has placed significant strain on logistics systems, complicating supply chains and operational efficiency. Operational security has also been compromised, as the lack of coordination and unreliable equipment have created vulnerabilities. Strategically, the alliance has weakened Russia's global military standing, diminishing its influence on the world stage. The increasing reliance on unreliable allies, like North Korea, further complicates Russia's ability to project power effectively. Moreover, the partnership has undermined Russia's deterrence capability, as its military posture is now more dependent on forces and resources that cannot be fully trusted, ultimately limiting its strategic options. The Institute for the Study of War reports that North Korean forces continue to struggle with high casualties and poor communication, undermining Russian military operations. This situation has been exacerbated by Russia's deteriorating economy and foreign exchange difficulties, forcing them to compensate North Korea with military technology rather than cash. The strategic miscalculation has also created unexpected regional dynamics. China, traditionally North Korea's main ally, has shown reluctance to be associated with this retro trio, potentially affecting future alliance prospects. Furthermore, North Korea's deployment could set a concerning precedent for their involvement in future conflicts, with implications for regional stability. Military analysts note that Russia's compensation to North Korea has primarily gone toward upgrading North Korean weapons and consumer goods factories, effectively strengthening Kim's regime while providing minimal benefit to Russian military capabilities. This arrangement has created what experts describe as a marriage of convenience or even desperation that threatens to undermine Russia's long-term strategic interests. The shifting landscape of global power dynamics has taken a dramatic turn as the Russia-Ukraine war update today reveals an unprecedented realignment of international alliances. The emergence of what analysts term an axis of upheaval between China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran marks a significant transformation in global geopolitics. High-level diplomatic engagement between the United States and China has intensified, with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirming robust conversations regarding North Korea's military involvement in Russia. The State Department's approach includes direct diplomatic channels with Chinese officials, coordinated responses with allies, enhanced monitoring of military movements, and strengthened regional partnerships. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State and other senior officials engaged in extensive discussions with Chinese diplomats, meeting for several hours at the Chinese ambassador's residence in Washington. This diplomatic surge reflects growing concerns about the potential for escalation in both European and Asian theaters. The deployment of North Korean troops to Russia has raised serious regional security concerns, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. With an estimated 8,000 North Korean soldiers now stationed in Russia's Kursk Oblast, experts view this move as a fundamental change in the geopolitical dynamics of Northeast Asia. The presence of these forces has significantly heightened military tensions in the region, altering the strategic balance, especially in the Indo-Pacific, where it has disrupted established security frameworks. The Korean Peninsula has become an even more volatile area as the deployment escalates the risk of conflict, while Southeast Asia is also witnessing a shift in alliances as countries reassess their strategic positions in response to the evolving situation. This development has had a particularly pronounced impact on South Korea, prompting it to move closer into alignment with the United States in response to the growing threat. This shift in strategic positioning is not only reshaping security calculations but is also influencing trade relations with both China and Russia, potentially altering the economic landscape of the region as countries reconsider their partnerships and alliances. The emerging geopolitical landscape suggests a significant restructuring of international alliances. The partnership between North Korea and Russia has catalyzed the formation of new strategic groupings, with the US, South Korea, and Japan strengthening their trilateral security cooperation. The scale of military cooperation between Russia and North Korea is substantial, with North Korea supplying 13,000 containers of arms, 6 million artillery shells, 50 self-propelled howitzers, and 20 multiple rocket launchers. This military collaboration has prompted a coordinated response from Western allies. The G7 nations, along with key partners, have expressed grave concerns about North Korea's military deployment. The situation has led to enhanced defense coordination among Japan, South Korea, and the United States, with potential implications for future conflicts in hotspots such as the Korean Peninsula and the Taiwan Strait. China's position remains particularly crucial, as Beijing maintains its no-limits partnership with Moscow while serving as North Korea's primary ally. However, experts suggest that China might not fully endorse the closer military partnership between Russia and North Korea, viewing it as potentially destabilizing for the region. The international community now faces what security analysts describe as a dual-pronged threat emanating from North Korea's accelerated weapons development and its intensifying cooperation with Russia. This has led to increased efforts to strengthen US-led deterrence measures and reassure regional allies of continued support for their security interests. The situation has particularly affected the Indo-Pacific region, where countries like the Philippines and Vietnam face increased pressure in their territorial disputes. This has led to a broader reassessment of regional security arrangements and the potential for new strategic partnerships emerge. Putin's alliance with North Korea stands as a defining strategic blunder in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, reshaping global power dynamics while exposing critical vulnerabilities in Russian military planning. North Korea's calculated deception through substandard military equipment, poorly trained troops, and failed integration efforts has significantly weakened Russia's combat effectiveness. Military analysts estimate that up to 80% of North Korean ammunition proves defective, while communication barriers and cultural differences have led to deadly friendly fire incidents. This strategic miscalculation demonstrates how desperation for military support can blind leaders to obvious risks and consequences. Do you think the challenges in the Russia and North Korea alliance will increase Ukraine's chances of winning? If you think so, please comment number 1. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video.